He drives the number 88 National Guard Superman Chevrolet for Hendrick Motorsports. And Dale, talk about this paint scheme on this race car you got. I look forward to go out there and see it. I hadn't seen it yet, but talk about it and for this special weekend here at Charlotte.
Yeah, it's pretty neat deal. We HMS has teamed up with DC Comics to do a 3-year program, and this particular weekend, Superman, the National Guard, are getting together, and basically what DC Comics wants to promote in this particular weekend is their Superman Hall of Heroes, which is an online gift-giving portal where you can go and induct someone that you think deserves that title, and it's a pretty neat deal. There's not a whole lot. There's some things that I know about that I can't talk about, but we'll be revealing later. But it's a good-looking race car, and I just hope it's fast. That's all. I'm just hoping we can go out there and run good. And we've worked with DC Comics in the past, and we've had some pretty good success when we've done that. We had the Superman car in '99 at Phoenix in a nationwide series when we wrapped up the championship there. We had Batman on the car in 2012 when we won at Michigan, so had some pretty good history there. So hopefully we can have a good run, but I'd love to win here. We haven't won here in a points paying race, and this is a track that I always got to come to ever since I was old enough to get to the racetrack. And so we haven't missed too many races here, and I sure would love to win one here, and it's been very difficult to do, but the 600 would definitely be in the top 5 of my favorite wins if I could get that this weekend.
Thank you, Dale. We'll go with Viv, we'll go with Jared, and then Tom right here. Go ahead, Viv.
Viv Bernstein, New York Times. What challenges will Chase Elliott face as the son of a NASCAR legend?
You know, I don't think he'll face a lot of challenges early, because when you're young, you're a bit naive to all that going on, all the things that are going on around you. You just really worry and care about driving the car and enjoying what you're doing, and just working with the team, hanging out with your friends. You don't understand and you don't recognize and notice a lot of the, you know, the storm around you, and you know, it takes a couple of years for that starts to so you start to understand really how big this thing really is. So I think the first couple of years, you know, you just being naive is a bit of a blessing, and he seems to just be focused solely on the particulars, and that's driving the car and enjoying himself, and he's very soft-spoken and quiet, and I think that that'll serve him pretty well the first several years. After you know, after about 12 or 24 months in the Cup Series, you start to realize exactly how big this thing is, and how powerful this sport is, and that's when you know, that's when you start to have those, you know, have trouble keeping your foot out of your mouth, and you know, just keep your head on straight.
We'll go to Jared, Tom, and then we'll go to Steve Richards.
Yeah, Jared Turner, Fox Sports. Dale, other than a Cup championship, is this race #1 on your bucket list?
This is definitely a race I'd love to win, and I just want to win a points race here so bad, because we live right down the road, and like I said, I've been coming here since I was a little kid. I remember sitting up in the press box watching qualifying for the '83 race, and that was probably one of my first real memories of going to a Cup event. And then once they built those condos over there in 1 and 2, and we never missed a race, and we watched a lot of them over there. And in the, you know, mid '80s and early '80s, we were watching a lot of races over on the last corner of the road course up on the hill with our, you know, most of our family and all the Uris and everybody. But you know, we just always came here, and You know, it's frustrating that I haven't won a race here, aside from the All-Star event. We've had some good cars, and but not nowhere near good enough. I can say there's a lot of the racetracks that I think about, man, you know, that car, we really were close, or that car was fast enough, but I've never really had a car here that I thought I should, you know, that, man, we had it, we were walking away and we gave it away. We always seem to get outrun here, but hopefully this weekend we can change that.
We'll go to Tom, Steve Richards, and then we'll go to Jeff Gluck.
Hi, Dale. Tom Jensen, FoxSports.com. What does Kurt Busch doing the double do to elevate his presence, I guess, or maybe create respect among the drivers? I mean, he's always been somebody who's fast, but do you look at him in maybe a little bit different way for going out and doing this?
I really like the work he's doing with the armed forces, and I think that says a lot about what's important to him more than anything he's doing on the racetrack. So I think that he's doing some really, really amazing work there and really making an impact. And I think that is probably doing a lot for him. I mean, it matters, but in my eyes, it does a lot for him, for me, and I respect him a lot more because of that. You know, the racing thing, hell, we all like to race, so I can understand his enjoyment of going and doing the Indy deal, and I can't wait to watch and pull for him. He's representing the entire sport, and whether he knows it or not, you know, I think he's got a lot of people, drivers and crew, and you know, just about everybody in the infield are going to be pulling for him to do well because he's representing all of us. But he's definitely put in a strong effort to make a different impression. I got to hand it to him. He's done a lot of work.
Steve Richards, Jeff Gluck, and in with David Caravello.
Hey, Dale. Steve Richards with PRN. Going to Dover, are you looking for a little redemption after finishing second, and what did you learn from that race?
Yeah. You know, I just learned Jimmy's real hard to beat at Dover. We came so close, and I ran those last 20 or 30 laps over and over after that race, trying to think about where I might have given up a little bit or to not seized an opportunity. But it was nice that we had a good car, and I hope that we can be as competitive when we go back, obviously. But yeah, I like racing there, and we definitely ran well. And hopefully, yeah, we're just going to have to be real aggressive. I think in that particular race, we were real aggressive on restarts, and it paid off. You know, we fought for positions in the middle part of the race that seemed meaningless, and by the end of the race, they were pretty damn. Those instances, I could add it up and say that's how we got that track position to get to where we were in position to race Jimmy. So I learned a lot in that particular event.
Jeff Gluck, and finish with David.
Jeff Gluck from USA Today. Going with the Superman theme, and you've had different superheroes on your car. If you could have any special power, what would it be and why?
Superhuman strength, I think, would be the best one to have. And just to be able to pick stuff up and throw it across the yard. But it'd be fun, you know. It could impress your friends and show off for the ladies. But I think, you know, you could sit down and think about it. I think they all have their positives. Superhuman strength would be pretty cool. Oh, I don't know. I'd just go, me and my friends might go to a junkyard and just toss some cars around or something. Just because that would be harmless, right?
Finish up with David Caravello.
Speaking of the junkyard, are you ever fascinated at the curiosity over your wrecked car graveyard? And I mean, are you adding cars to it at a more rapid clip these days, or does it seem that way because you're able to post the photos on Twitter?
Yeah, I think it's just the Twitter thing. There's a lot of people are learning about me on Twitter over the last bit, and we've you know, collected cars there for a really long time, and it's not like I go looking for every wreck that we have or that anyone has. A lot of times they're offered up, and sometimes it might be I'll call a buddy that's a crew chief there or something like that. Like I called Addington and asked Steve about the 51 car, and I know Harry Scott pretty well, so I figured if they were going to throw it away, I could at least have it. I don't know why I want them or why we even go get them. I think that when I first started racing in the late models and owning a team, when JR Motorsports first started with Pro Cup and late model, we put so much money into building them cars, and when we tear them up, I just couldn't see throwing them away or scrapping them, so we stick them into the woods. And so if we have 80 cars now, the first 30 or 40 cars are JR Motorsports or late models or something related to me and my company, and we just kept plugging them in there. And then Brad Keselowski, y'all remember when Brad's daddy owned a Nationwide car that wrecked at Talladega and 4, and it flipped up into the wall, and I forget who was driving it, but he used to be track champion at Hickory. No, Setzer. Dennis Setzer was driving it, and they flipped him for. Well, Brad, give me that car. And then it started with that. It started with getting cars like that. Brad lives right next to me. He's like, hey, man, we're going to throw this away. You want this car. So we put that in there, and that got me thinking, man, I'll get other people's cars, not just mine. So I called Chip about the dryer car, and he said I could put it out there as long as we didn't never take any pictures of it. And he just didn't want a lot of publicity with it being out there. And then I got the C-Post car from Chad Knaus because they wrecked that one, I think, the first lap of the race. Just, whatever. And the hard part is people want to know if there's tours or they can come look at it. And so I feel kind of bad because it's on my property. But it's just like that western town that I built. It'll be there hopefully after I'm gone, and somebody will walk back there and go, what the hell is this doing here? And who put it here? And then my name will come up and they'll remember me. Huh? I don't know. I might need to go count. I mean, there's sides and noses and hoods hanging up in the trees, and there's all kinds of quirky stuff back there. My property manager, Sonny, some of you guys know Sonny, he's got a weird sense of humor, and so he'll stick them things in some odd places. And he got a truck from Brad Keselowski that he just nosed into the side of the creek, and it's half buried in the creek. It's real funny looking, sticking out like that. But so it's just fun. We go riding through there in the golf carts and stuff. My mom goes walking back through there, just chilling, and you see something new every time. It's pretty fun.
Dale, thank you so much.
Yep.
Good luck
Take
this
it easy.
weekend.
Have a good weekend.